appreciate you taking some time with us today, and we hope we can deliver some real value for you as well. And in fact, it's not just me. You can see I've got Josh Leonard here and Kristen Keeley, his marketing associate. And so actually this is a surprise twist of events, actually, because we were planning to share this information with you. And then we had one of our advisors who just executed on the strategy so well. And we had to ask how, and he said, well, not by myself. And then he introduced Kristen rather. And so here we are, the three of us. We're going to talk about what they did and how it works and why it works. And hopefully it'll be inspiring and helpful for you. So what are we here to talk about today? First of all, just to get us started, we are here to talk about an opportunity. And if you've been in this business for any length of time as an advisor scaling a business, you probably already know intuitively what I'm about to show you, which is the data. And this is just the last 12 months. If we take this back 3 years, 6 years, the trend is exactly the same. When we send out communications to clients and prospects on behalf of our advisors, or they use our platform to do it, and the topic is timely, so it directly relates to a geopolitical event or a market moving event or a big piece of economic news, something that's dominating the headlines, you get an immediate spike in engagement. As you can see here, the average open rate just on this example for emails goes from 29% to 43%, a 48% increase. Why? Relevance. It is all about relevance. And so here we are, July 28th, and we've got a lot of relevant things happening in the markets and the economy that we can talk about. And if we make it timely, we know it's going to perform better. So what kind of timely communications are going to perform right now? Well, one we can tell you is performing is marketing related to the big, beautiful bill that's now law. People are asking, what does this really mean for me? That's what these things do. They create windows of opportunity. They create open doors because these are shifting policies. They affect people's pocketbooks. They affect their investments. They affect their options, and they want to know why and how. So as an advisor, you have a chance when these things happen to show up first and to show up with value. And that is exactly what Josh is doing. Now, we will take a little time and we will show you some ways that you can use this specific legislation in your marketing. We'll break down some strategies. And then we're going to ask Josh and Kristen to explain exactly how they do it. And then we'll come back and we'll actually demonstrate some more of this and answer any questions that you have as well today. So before we actually go too deep into the core of the information out of respect for their time, we're actually going to start with what they did. Now, I'm going to ask them some questions. I'm going to share some things. But just to tee up, this is the type of campaign that Josh and Kristen decided to use for this particular communication. And what you'll notice about this campaign is that there is a landing page where the video lives. There is a series of promotional elements designed to drive traffic to that video landing page. And on that video landing page, there is a form where people can submit questions about the content of the video. And this is a framework that works very well because you're not just putting the video out there for random traffic. You're actually using emails and text messages and even social posts to drive your audience to it, to make sure it actually gets consumed, and you're giving them a clear next action. Because if they have a question, they can reach out to you and submit their question. So Josh and Kristen did this really well. This is just a screenshot of the page. And I want to talk to them about the process and how they got here and what kind of results they're getting. Already we can see in the data considerable amount of view traction. So Josh, we'll start with you and then we'll go to Kristen. So you're the president and advisor at the practice, and you recorded a video about this. What prompted you to take action on this, first of all?
Yeah, I think new bill, new opportunity, right? There is a change. I think as an advisor, this is where we get to share our expertise, hopefully connect with some new people, or maybe someone that we met with a while ago that didn't have a need at the time might see this new tax bill as a time to connect with an advisor. So we certainly want to get that information out as quick as possible. to folks. And for us, our demographics that we work with are typically people preparing for retirement and then transitioning. So we say 55 plus, rooted in the Rust Belt because we're in Pittsburgh. So we take our region with pride. And so we focused it on three things to know and two things to do around the tax bill, right? We all know it's 900 plus pages and no one wants to read all that. So try to do a focused, quick message to hopefully help them out.
Okay. And Josh, I know you didn't exactly use the Snappy Kraken content word for word.
Hmm.
You very much made it your own. Can you tell us about your process of getting from, hey, I've got this campaign I can use in Snappy Kraken to actually now this is Leonard Financial Group focused. It's for my clients. It's in my voice. What did it take for you to actually pull that off?
Yeah, so that's exactly it. We wanted to narrow down to our target demographic, what's important to them. So while we very much like the messaging of the snappy, crack, and timely emails, we wanted to kind of take that and then blend it with some of the focus points that we thought and actions that we think our demographic should be taking. So I came up with a script for the video, recorded the video, shared with Kristen, hey, they have this great email. How can we merge these two things together and push out the video? Because the video is posted on YouTube and certainly will gain some traction there. But we have an email list that we've built out of those targeted folks. So we can put it out to the mass public, but also, push it out to the clients with the clear call to action on the web page as well.
Yeah. I want to actually just take a minute and highlight something here about what Josh did in this video. So I won't play the whole thing for you, but you can see already, 3.3K views, 6 days. They're good use of hashtags. We'll talk a little bit about this with Kristen in a minute, how she got this up here and what she's doing. But what you'll notice, I want to point out a few things about this video as I let it play for a moment, even though it's muted. First of all, you'll notice that Josh is in his office. He's sitting in a chair just like he might any other day, and he's visiting with the camera. It's very natural. It's not a high level studio production. Josh, I know this is by design. You could obviously go into a studio, you could set up a studio, you could do a lot of different things. Tell me why this format works for you, and also why are there such big captions on it?
Yeah. Well, demographic, I think. So captions, it's easy to read, right? Small print, quickly moving is hard. It's focusing on it there. I think especially when we talk through numbers, that's helpful for folks to see. Um, this is actually our podcast studio, but that is meant to be more of like a home setting, a little bit more comfortable, not intimidating like a news studio or something like that. Um, a recent guest gave me a terrible towel since we recently moved back to the Pittsburgh area. So I had to hang that up in the background again. We're in Pittsburgh, so you know.
No, it's great. Actually, I think this is something I like to show because advisors get hung up sometimes. They think everything has to be pixel perfect.
Hmm.
And this is actually likely how people are going to see you when they come into your office. It's very
Sure.
authentic. It actually gives people a glimpse of what the experience is going to be like when Josh is talking to them, educating them. And so really it doesn't have to be over the top. This is actually good because it's ingratiating.
Yeah, I think one more thing that has been hard for me to deal with is we're not hiding behind a desk in this setup, which makes you a little bit more exposed. I'm a very animated person, so I naturally move all over the place. But I think that helps people connect with the video as well.
Yes, definitely, definitely. So, Kristen, tell me about the process for getting this from. It's easy for advisors to hear, okay, I just recorded the video and then I get it out. But what did you really have to do? What is the real marketing work that goes into something like this?
Yeah, so with that, I mean, we looked at we wanted it to kind of be the focus was the video, but to like our email itself had just kind of like a brief description of like, there's the new bill. If you have any questions, you can watch the video here, or like you see the complete the form below. I feel like we kind of wanted to keep the email like very short and to the point so that they were either just immediately watching the video, or if they're like, yeah, I do have questions about that, they could just go and submit the form to be able to meet with one of the advisors here. So it's kind of so I guess just kind of going through that, we wanted to make sure that because it has like the different steps. So we kind of updated it to be, instead of like asking a question, to kind of prompt them to schedule to come in and talk with us in person.
Yep. So you adjusted the text on the page, you uploaded the video. About how much time did it take you to build this all out and get it out?
Yeah, I would say like maybe 1 to 2 hours. Since Josh had already done the video, that part wasn't something that I had to necessarily do, but I feel like um probably cleaning up all of like how with the stuff that we changed probably took like 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah. And may I ask, have you gotten any results from this yet, or from similar campaigns in the past that you can share?
So with this one, I'm not as familiar with like previous ones. That might be a Josh question, but for this one, we've had, I would say, 3 to 4 people had emailed or like submitted the responses, and or just responded back to the email saying that they were interested in coming in if Josh thought that it was something that would impact theirs, or they were just curious and wanted to have a conversation about it.
Excellent. So some prospects that were in your pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good best practice. Josh, anything you would add about how this type of communication also impacts clients?
Yeah, I think so. We broadly send this kind of communication to prospects and clients. I think for existing clients, it also lets them know that we're thinking about these new things and they can reach out to us. For prospects too, I think it helps differentiate us. We typically get, especially on timely things, we get more email responses back than we do for just general like tax tips or do a Roth conversion, right? Unless it's really timely, it doesn't sort of filter its way to the top of the inbox as quick. Our email list has been a key asset for us, especially through COVID. We used to do a lot of public workshops and a lot of public outreach, but really we were able to grow the business throughout COVID and sort of that time where we stopped doing public events and lean on the list. So these sort of communications are a way to stand out a little bit more than just maybe a default market update that, in my opinion, most of our clients don't want to read anyways.
Yep, yep, that's true. Excellent. Well, we really appreciate your insights. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for setting the example too on how to do this. We look forward to hearing about those other prospects coming around, and yeah, we admire the work you're doing. Anything you would add that you think advisors or marketing assistants, Kristen, who are thinking about doing this kind of thing should know? Any recommendations?
Huh? Josh, do you have any?
I think leaning on the team. So this is something that
Yeah.
we're building out with Kristen. She is new to our team. She's in her 5th week. So she's already on the Snappy Kraken
Yeah.
webinar. So, round of applause for Kristen there. But the idea is, especially as we grow our practices, our time becomes more and more limited. It is important to get that communication out. So being able to lean on our team makes it possible. So we were really honored to get the email from Angel on Friday. That was a nice little win to end the week for our team. So honored to be here. I think for folks, video is such an amazing way of communicating and connecting with people, and being able to partner the two through Snappy Kraken has been super helpful to us.
Yeah. Well, thank you both. Really appreciate your joining us. We're going to actually walk everybody through how to do this. So thank you. That's all the time we need for today from both of you, but thank you for spending it with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So some of you who are on this call, you may be hearing, what Josh has done. You see Kristen is helping him. There's a couple of powerful lessons here, right? As the advisor, you provide the thought leadership. You decide which pieces are relevant for you and your clients. You adapt things. And then you have a team who helps you with the deployment. Now, some of you may not be familiar with what it actually takes to do something like this. So I want to actually walk you through a couple of the steps that you could use to actually do the exact same thing that Josh did here with the support of his team. We actually have 2 assets related to this campaign that are in Snappy Kraken. And by the way, this is not all that we're going to cover today. I'm going to go back and talk about the bill and talk about ways to approach it here in just a minute. But everything you just saw them talking about, I want you to get an idea for how simple it really is. So with the video campaigns, you just hit personalize. All of the coordinated elements of these campaigns are already built out. So you've got the web page, like in this case, if you click here, you can see here's the script already written and compliance approved for you. So you can delete any sections that aren't relevant for you. You can edit this right here and practice it. And then, of course, you've got some optional video thumbnails that we can use, or you can build, pull in your own. So you save this, you've got the script, then you've got the video link. So down here, all you have to do is basically just drop your YouTube video link. So I just dropped Josh's in there, and it automatically pulls it into the campaign. So what it will do once you've dropped your video link is it will automatically use your branding settings from your profile and your video link to actually build out the landing page. And of course, you can come in here, and if you want to use AI to rephrase things or get suggestions for different styles, you can do that. You can see here, very quick and easy to generate. It automatically builds out the landing page, puts the submission form, pulls in your branding settings, and basically the page is ready to go. So once that's done, then you've got, of course, the promotional emails, which you can edit as well in the drag and drop builder. This content asset is just an example. Pull in any pictures that you want that are relevant to your video. And then you've got, of course, all the social posts that are related to it and the text messages as well that go out to your list. So all of this is built in to the system, ready for you to customize with our drag and drop builders, with the content. It's just very simple. So that's what they essentially did. Now you said you heard her say it took about an hour or two. It has to be uploaded to YouTube or Vimeo or Wistia. You have to drop your link, but all the timing, all the triggers, all the elements of the campaign are already created. And if you don't have time to do that, if you're not interested in recording a video, we've also created a timely email on this topic as well, which you can see here, already researched, already compliance approved, breaking down the key elements of the bill in writing, and of course, offering to meet with clients and prospects to cover anything that's relevant for them. So all of this is built into the system. Once you deploy this, automatically it's going to go out to your audience. It's going to automatically be branded for your firm. And all you really have to do is record the video and drop that asset. But let's go back to the main topic of this webinar for a little bit and talk about the impact of these kinds of changes, right? We've seen this before. 2012, gift tax exemptions surged. I'm sure many of you have been in the business for a while. You remember this. That resulted in a massive amount of high net worth gifting and trust creation. 2020, the CARES Act. What happened, right? People were able to take action. RMDs were suspended, penalty-free withdrawals were allowed, and advisors were able to work with their clients to make smarter tax moves. So these types of situations, they create prospect and investor interest, and they give advisors the opportunity to start conversations. But that's really what it starts with, the conversation. So how can you use this to start conversations? You saw an example of what they did at Leonard Advisory Group. They put a video explaining these key aspects that were relevant for their clients on a landing page and said, ask us your questions. That's something that's built out inside Snappy Kraken. It's very easy to do. So let's talk about 3 groups of people that you can start conversations with who are affected right now by these changes in the Big Beautiful Bill. Number 1, this is a huge, huge opportunity for high net worth investors and also for business owners. And so we'll talk about a few of these things. So the fact that, first of all, the $15 million gift and estate tax exemption is going up and giving families this window to transfer significant wealth without incurring estate taxes, this is something that many families in this bracket will want to act on. So how are you getting out there and talking about this? Or charitable giving, these chances to improve your planning strategies. High net worth families, number 1 need and issue is around estate planning. So the more you can get out front with estate planning issues, the more conversations you can start. So you can use Snappy Kraken or another tool to build out conversation starters around these topics. So this is where identifying things in the bill that are relevant to your clients and talking about those, just like Josh said, we're going to cover 2 things to do, 3 things to know, 2 things to do. How can you get it down to the specific things that your audience cares about? These are examples of what you might do for a high net worth audience. If you work with retirees, these are some of the things that Josh touched on in his video. So if you know your audience and you review these bills or the content that's been created in light of your audience, what you really want to do is create separate pieces of content for each audience. So if you're marketing to business owners, you don't want to be talking about better RMD planning. But if you're marketing to retirees, you do. So identify your audience, pick the elements of the bill you want to talk about, and create content around it. For example, if you are interested in attracting high net worth business owners, now is absolutely one of the best times to reach out to them, because the qualified small business stock exemption went from 10 million to 15 million. No capital gains. So anybody that's thinking about transacting in the next few years on a business, they now have an extra $5 million that they don't have to pay capital gains tax on. That's potentially a big deal, but it might require business planning. It might require even the type of stock that they own in their business might need to be looked at. So these are things that you can initiate conversations either in partnership with estate planning attorneys or tax attorneys, or just to get the dialogue going with your clients. So for example, reaching out to anybody you know in your database that has a business, is an entrepreneur, and saying, hey, would you like to explore how you can take advantage of this, is a great way to start the conversation. So what do you do? How can you actually pull this off? Well, it's a simple framework that we call the triple R framework. So number one, you research it. Hopefully we've helped you do that by creating some content ahead of time for you that's already broken down. Identify what's going to provide the most context and clarity for your clients, and then create a reassuring message, and for prospects, questions, conversation starters that can get them open and interested in actually conversing with you about these strategies. So you deploy this content. It could be an email, it could be a video, it could be a series of social posts using these conversation starters. But what happens after that? How do you actually turn this into business or into conversations? Well, it can't stop with just deploying the content. And this is often where strategies will stop, but you need a complete system. You need to know that once this content is going out, people are going to be, as they're acting on it, they're going to be cycled back into a dialogue with you. So how does that work? Well, a couple things I want to show you that are relevant to how this type of marketing is actually beneficial and goes to scaling your business. After you launch these campaigns, so let's say you schedule the launch or you launch it immediately for your audience. Now the campaign will basically be running. But how do you make sure that it gets to the right people and that those people can take action on it and that you're notified? Well, that's where the whole loop really has to close. So inside of your contact groups, one of the things we recommend is to make groups for people of different ages or demographics or profiles. That makes it very simple for you to make sure that those people get the right content that's relevant for them. So you can create groups on things such as age. So if you want to have retiree prospects, for example, you can create your group and you can dynamically segment it so that their age will automatically filter them into this group. So we could say 62 to 80, for example. And you could create another group for pre-retirees. You could even do things like you could add investable assets. Let's say that you wanted to, or net worth. If you wanted to make sure that only people with a minimum of 500,000 in net worth up to 5 million receive this, you can also do that. And your dynamic groups will automatically filter people that fit this criteria into that group. So once you've created your dynamic groups, it's going to look at your database, it's going to look at the ages, it's going to look at who belongs in those groups based on the criteria you set and move them into those groups. That way, when you actually create your campaigns, so like here is this tax video about tax changes, the one that we just personalized a moment ago, you can go into your subscribers and you can just add this particular message so that it goes out to people in that group. So in this case, I'll just assume this is the same one. It's for retiree prospects. I go like that. Now anybody that's in that group is going to automatically get added. And I could do the same thing if I created one for business owners or one for accumulators and families. You also have the opportunity to do something called auto, which means anytime a new person gets added to that group, they would receive that campaign. So now you don't even have to go in and add them in the future. They would automatically be subscribed just by hitting that auto button on any campaign that you've created. So now you know the right people are going to receive the campaign. Even if you don't necessarily know who's in the group, the system can look at the data and make sure they're the right person for that group. But now as the campaign is running, now what? Well, that's where this next aspect of the platform really helps you, because as you have clicks and views and conversations being started, people are submitting that form on your landing page and saying, hey, I'm interested in this. I want to know more. I have a question. The system is going to show you who has submitted new forms, and it's going to show you which campaign they came from. And it's going to give you their email and their phone number and their lead score, which is going to tell you how engaged they are. And if you are using our data enrichment partnership with Catchlight or another tool, then you can also see their asset level. So this is going to help you to know where to focus, because if you're going to start a conversation, it's good to know who are your most engaged, who are your most valuable prospects. So here you can see the lead comes through, you know the source, and now you can one-to-one text them or email them, or you can go in and add them to another campaign. So if you had a appointment booking campaign, for example, you could click subscribe and add them to the appointment booking campaign. Because the idea here is that when you are creating opportunities with content, you don't want to let those opportunities slip through the cracks. So you have to make sure that you're not going to miss. And that's what the system will do. It will analyze the activity and then surface your best opportunities for you as smart leads. These are smart lead prioritizations. So now you can see who's engaged, who has assets, and what they're interested in. And as you keep up with that opportunity feed over time, you will be able to capture every opportunity that's coming through. Make sure you don't miss any. So what's really going to happen? What does that actually give you visibility into? If you deploy a campaign, you're going to see who clicks on that CTA, who opens it. They're going to be flagged and scored. You're going to get an alert, and then you can send a follow-up message to start the conversation. Or you can have your assistant do it, or someone else working at your firm. So very, very simple, all built in. Again, all you have to do is come to Snappy Kraken, grab the campaign out of the library, personalize it, send it, and then keep up with the interest as it comes in and take action on that interest. Very simple. So new opportunity for legislation, first mover advantage to get out and start conversations. You've got 2 campaigns, an email blast and a video campaign. Both are available for you. Both leverage our RRR framework. They're well researched, they're reassuring, and then as you use them, all the results will be filtered back to you and amplified as part of a complete marketing system. So this is just one example of how we've taken action on new information that's come out. We will continue to do that for any new bills, any new updates, any new technology that impacts advisors. We'll continue to bring you timely information so you can take action. And if you have any questions at all, please let our team know. Or if you'd like to take a personal tour of the platform, see what else is available, and get a demo of this technology for yourself, please do use the QR code to book a demo here. And we also want to thank John and Kristen again for joining us and for walking us through how they did that in practice for their clients. So thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We hope you guys have a good rest of the day and a good rest of the week. Thanks so much.